I'm joined now by Joseph Benavidez. He was in the main event this past weekend at UFC in Norfolk, Virginia. Joe, you're back home in Las Vegas. How did you feel the morning after? You wake up the morning after a very, very difficult loss. What's going through your mind, having some time to process it?
Well, the morning after was it was just terrible. It's a lot of, like, obviously the disappointment and almost like a disbelief, you know. Everything goes so fast and just kind of ends very abruptly, and all of a sudden, you know, all those plans and feelings you had imagined are opposite, you know, the ones you never imagined, and they're kind of like right in front of you to deal with. And you know, it's one of those things you have to it's like a minute by minute thing, you know. It's there's no recipe of just like, hey, this is gonna make it better right now, you know. And you know, it just, those feelings get chipped away slowly, but it's kind of there forever, you know. So now, whatever, 3 days removed, like, yeah, some feelings are chipped away. You know, I can get on here, I can have some pretty blossom thoughts, as like I wrote on, even on my Instagram today, just kind of where I'm at and how I feel, you know. If anyone goes and reads that, you know, get out and see people. No, dog's kissing me, so that always helps me feel good too. But yeah, you know, that's good. And you know, the pain's starting to go away, like, physically. And you know, it's it's something, you know, once the dust settles, it's pretty apparent that everything in life is okay, and you can only, or I can only really accept that because my life is okay. And that's always something, you know, I've stressed and kind of been the proprietor of, is just like, you know what, life's okay and life's bigger. And it's really hard right at the moment, but when everything settles, it becomes pretty apparent that, like, I've been worse and it's been worse. And for me, perspective is so big, because, like, I said after the fight when they interviewed me that, you know, people are going through their own issues all day. It's just like, I happen to be here and you're asking me about it, so people see it, seems this, seems that. But at the end of the day, like, I choose to do this. Like, I chose to do that knowing the risks, and like, I'm choosing to, like, chase greatness every day, to chase my goals, my dreams. And that can't always be attained, but, like, I'm lucky that I have the choice to do that. Some people don't have that. You know, some people die, never a choice at hand. You know, someone got diagnosed with cancer like the same day, and they didn't have a choice, and they're dealing with a far larger issue than I am. So I just always take it to that. And then even personally, like, I've been worse, you know. I'm glad I have just, like, my wife and a good life to fall back on. It would obviously be a lot harder if I didn't. But those are choices that have added up too since in my life. So yeah, that's it, I guess. If that's an answer or a ramble more so.
I know that you went to the PI since you've been back, and you've spent a lot of time there. You rehabbed there for over a year. I mean, I think it's fair to say that a large contingent of the fighters rallied behind you for this weekend. You walk through those doors, I'm sure you see a lot of familiar faces. What's the reaction like?
Yeah, the PI has been amazing, man. That has been instrumental in my career as of late. You know, my last 3 fights, I forgot. And I don't know if people forget, I forget that I was out 18 months with the ACL injury, and I was able to come back and do this and do that. You know, the last 3 fights is where I really got my groove there after, like, my rehab, and was able to use the resources. Even now, went in there and just getting on my protocol for, you know, my health after this fight. My weight cut that I was able to do in that fight was incredible. yeah, so I go in and like that's my place. Like I'm the go I'm the freaking mayor there, basically. Like I walk in and I'm just shake hands with everybody, talk to everybody every day. You know, that's like my family. Some of the people there, some of my best friends, and obviously the athletes there as well. So walking in this time, it was something I dreaded, but like at the end of the day, made me feel a lot better once it happened because it's perspective of, these people aren't disappointed in you. They're not let down by you. They are only sad or whatever because they wanted you to succeed. And at the end of the day, they like you not because you succeeded or you didn't succeed, but they like you because, you see them every day and who you are every day. So that was refreshing, honestly, because, and then there's like fighters there from, fight week starting here in Vegas already. So that's always filled with people and just good to see them. Always good to get the love and respect from your peers and stuff. And just brings a little bit of like normalcy in, like everyone's lost and everyone knows what it feels like. So, they can kind of relate to where you're at a little bit. But mainly, like I said before, like I have to remember all the things I think and all the things I say and feel, when things are going good or before things are bad, which is like, we're lucky to do this at the end of the day. And yeah, that kind of like the PI is one of those places that just has that energy to bring all that to life and remember like this is great. Like these people care about me. They only want the best for me. And yeah, so it was nice. And then we got to run into a few other athletes. It was great.
If you go back to the fight itself, how much of an impact did the headbutt make? Like if that headbutt doesn't happen, does that finish not happen at that moment? Do you think you're going into the later rounds had you that clashing of heads not occurred?
100%. If the headbutt didn't happen, I feel I was getting in a good groove. I obviously won the first round, and I think it was only a matter of time, before I continued to get to my groove, continued to, find more shots, continued to find, even more takedowns. I mean, the guy's very springy and strong at the beginning, but like the headbutt altered everything. I didn't know where I was after the headbutt. I mean, I can say, right as it happened, I didn't even like, it was one of those things that rattled you so bad. I wasn't present. I mean, I clearly just walked straight backwards with my hands down and I rubbed my eye as a guy that was trying to finish me was right in front of me. A focused, present fighter of my like wouldn't have happened. I didn't know really what had happened or where I was. So I could say, yeah, that was 100% like the beginning of the end. I didn't know where I was. That led to him, swarming me and punching me, which, yeah, for him, the fight wasn't stopped. He just saw blood and he saw me probably obviously rocked and did what he thought he'd do. I mean, he might have not even known it was a headbutt either. I'm sure he did, but, it wasn't stopped. So, yeah, I think that altered everything. I started to, really seeing pretty clearly, fighting pretty clearly. I saw him getting tired. After the first, round, and that's kind of where I look back at it. Like I see people, even myself, like, all right, like I was over aggressive or something, or trying to knock him out or something, and I could have fought smarter. But it's like, have you ever seen me fight? Like, of course I was aggressive. Like, the guy is tired in front of me, and more so than that, I have a guy standing in front of me that is punchable. Like from the beginning, I knew he didn't have the best like defense. He had good offense, but no one comes after him on the feet ever. And even if I didn't think he was tired, I come after people. That's what I do. So when I see him come up from that first scramble, and I like, what am I gonna do? Circle around the ring and wait for him to recover? No. We come up from a scramble. I see him a little tired. I'm trying to finish him. I'm throwing punches. They seem to be landing, you know. Obviously, like with the totals and stuff for the first round. So, yeah, it's easy to look back at and be like, oh, I could have just circled and wasted so much time for him to get tired. No, he got tired after the first thing. I was trying to take advantage of it. That's what I do. I mean, I know myself. That's how I fight. I think that is a lot of the reason people do watch me fight anyway. So, yeah, man, like I honestly felt like it was going like I thought it would. Like nobody can keep up with my pace. So I knew like you're gonna stand in front of me and you're not gonna be able to keep up with what I'm doing. So like I can play that like all day going in. I felt like in my element, even getting out of the second round. It's like, look, you still have to be careful. It's only the second round, but he's obviously a lot more tired than you. But at that point, I believe anybody is. So yeah, I felt like it was going that way, and I felt, by the middle of that second, third round, I think it was really going to start to sway. And the headbutt just, I mean, it honestly, it altered everything. I mean, it was a knockout blow that was not, that was accidental. So that's exactly how I feel about it. Like, imagine if the guy had kicked me in the head or something. That's how it felt running into that headbutt plus the blood. I think, yeah, that's kind of messed me up. I feel maybe if I was rocked and I thought it was a punch or something, I could have maybe poker faced through it, even though I wasn't really present. It's easy to say now. And maybe if I had just bled, but I had at least had the wherewithal to, what was happening, I could have got away from that and circled. But I think the combination of both, I didn't even know the guy was in front of me. I just like wiped my face like I had just ran my head into something. So, man, yeah, it does changed everything. And it's just, that's the disappointing part is, the fight was going pretty good, pretty, how I wanted it to, outpacing someone that was never in his life going to outpace me. And everything was set up for me to be a freaking hero, to be a champion, to achieve the greatness I set out to do. And it's funny because it's literally against the villain in a way. No one wanted that guy to win after making weight. No one seems to like him. And it's just, that's the sad part is when it comes down to it. Like you talked about, like the morning, and now is like I had every chance to be like the hero, and then it's just like, why can't I do these things? Why can't that happen? And then, people are like, oh, well, you are this and you are that, and you're an inspiration, and you fought your heart out and this and that, and after all, it was a headbutt. But I'm like, but still, why? Like, if only that could happen to me. Like, a guy misses weight, a guy, a fight ends with a headbutt to a knockout, and it's like, why can't everything just go good? Like, I can still be whatever, like people, oh, you're a great person, you win at life and like that. Well, I can win at life and what I set out to be, which is the best. And like that is like the stuff that hurts, where it's like, yeah, like being me or people liking me or whatever, like what people tell me, or like, I really appreciate that, and that's important. But that goes without saying. That only happens by being yourself. I set out to do something greater than myself, and that's the stuff that hurts, is when it doesn't work out and you have this, chances, and every time it like, you achieve greatness or something, like in a last fight with like a Formiga or something that could have easily been a vacant title fight. great this, and then, but you get the chance to prove this, and everything kind of goes wrong for me, and I don't know why it's like that. And there's probably not a reason, but it just hurts sometimes a lot.
All right, Joe. Well, I appreciate your honesty and your candor. I know that his agent, Walid Ismail, says that the UFC is looking to book a rematch. We hope that happens. The journey continues for you. It's not over. And like I mentioned, appreciate your time, and thanks for doing this.